Jordan, we finally made it. 38 match weeks later.
38 weeks.
Man, we have been grinding episodes, back-to-back weeks.
Shorts, midweek fixtures, all of it, right?
All in the culmination that we've gotten here to the final day when it all matters.
Wow.
The title race is on for me. I've got him in my sights. Take us away with the scores.
Oh, my goodness. We'll start with the scores. I have extended my lead to double digits. It is 238 to 227. Brock's down 11. If he were to climb back in 1 week, this week, it would be the most special thing you've ever seen ever.
I am a man of theatrics. I love a storyline, and that's what I had to give the people. I had to be the underdog so that I could be the victor.
Oh my days! So we'll see if he can pull an Arsenal this weekend. But all that being said, I want to start this episode. It's the last one. We've gone 8 months strong. We've never missed a beat. I mean, eight months of fixtures, and Brock and I have been here week in, week out, producing, just giving you guys content, right? And I want to start this video off by posing a question for the fans, right? We'll go ahead and answer here, but a question for all of you guys to be dropping in the comments is, what was your favorite moment of the season, of the 23-24 season? I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to you to answer that to start us off here.
Just sitting here being on the spot, a moment that comes quickly into my mind is the Emirates fixture, Arsenal-Manchester United. Declan Rice, that late winner, and then Gabriel Jesus piercing it off. It was one of those games where we didn't really know much about United. We knew Arsenal was going to be having conversations, and to have one of those passion wins where it's late, it's a new player, he scores a insane winner. What a moment.
And that was early in the season, and it was also, you had predicted 3-1. So you had gotten the game of the week spot on, and it was just
a double whammy.
It was a double whammy for you. It was a bit of brilliance. For me, two moments kind of.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to decide. Okay, I picked one. Okay. It's also against Man United. Yeah. You have Alex Iwobi.
What was the Selly?
Oh, I mean, he just walked like he owned the place, you know. I mean, he's a bit of brilliance. But yeah, Alex Iwobi, 95th minute winner at Old Trafford, to kind of instill that Fulham can now hang with the big boys. It was one of those moments, and it was pretty special. Something I'll never forget. But that was my moment. But let's just get
comments.
Yeah,
fire away at it. I'd love to see some of the storylines.
Yeah, we love to interact with you in the comments. And recent weeks you guys haven't been there, so it's the last one. We need you in there. But Brock's going to take us into the first fixture.
The first fixture we're going to tackle all kickoff at 8 this Sunday. Adds to the theatrics. First one we'll tackle Sheffield at home playing against Spurs. I think you're going to have a storyline. I have an idea of the direction you might take this. I have my 2 cents, but I want to hear your feedback first.
Yeah. First off, Sheffield, as we've known for weeks, they're going down. It's their last game in the Premier League. Tottenham, crazy scenario. If Tottenham were to lose this game and Chelsea were to win this game, Chelsea would finish above Tottenham, which is just
this is why I hang around this guy. He knows that. So
that's crazy.
Like, man, they're all rubbish, and he knows this.
That's crazy. If Chelsea finishing 5th, Tottenham finishing 6th would just be crazy. Yeah. If you would have told me that was possible on the final match week a month ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have believed you. I don't think that'll happen though. Right? Tottenham will get the job done here. But real quick, I want you to tell the audience how you felt when Son missed that opportunity late in the game against City to potentially equalize.
This hurts. This actually just sitting here hurts. You can count on Spurs for nothing.
Yeah.
When it comes to deciding titles, there's one thing they're good at, and it's bottling it. And we saw it play out this way. And really, the culture. This is where the direction that I wanted to take this conversation. Ange Postecoglou, he has all my respects.
100%.
He has all of my respects, but it is a club. It is an identity problem with the Spurs.
Yeah.
And it's the reason that they're where they're at, because they would rather celebrate their rival club losing a title than be able to push themselves for Europe. And I think that tells you anything about the fan base. Cheering louder for Arsenal not being able to take the title than even being excited for their team to make Champions League. It says everything about their identity, and that's my 2 cents on the situation.
Give me your scoreline.
I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
2-0 Spurs. I'll also go 2-0 Spurs. That brings us to the Kenny. We have Luton Town against Fulham in what might be the last game at the Kenny in the Premier League. Right. We were just talking about it, but Luton would have to win and Nottingham Forrest lose.
Yes.
And the goal differential between those two games be
Yes.
plus 12 to Luton.
Yes.
Is it possible?
What I would tell you, and it's been my conscience, has been my ideology this entire season, through thick and thin, you don't bet against a Kenny. And you don't bet against a Kenny that is back. Their backs are against the wall. They're pinned against the wall.
They're going down.
Fulham side, they're not playing for anything. They may just kind of be lackluster. Give me Luton Town 8-0.
That means you need Forrest to lose 4-0 to make it interesting.
Yes.
So just be aware of that when it gets there in a little bit.
Yeah.
Fulham, I do want to speak on my squad real quick.
Yeah,
it's an interesting season. You lose Mitro at the beginning of the season, your goal talisman, right? And at first struggles for goals. At first, people are pegging them to go down, and we had a good season. A good season where we've shown our quality at times. We've shown our inconsistency at times. But I'm proud of our season, and I want us to be able to go out on a bang here. I'm going to say 3-0 Fulham.
Big ups.
That brings us to Burnley against Nottingham Forest. What is your scoreline here? Burnley would have to beat Forest by a lot for Luton to stay in the Prem.
Yeah. And what we've really seen, just from a tactical ideology, Burnley finding their feet. They've started to find their feet. They understand.
Burnley are relegated, mate. They're relegated.
They're relegated, but what they're finding is a tactical ideology. I think we're going to see that Burnley side last season that made an unbelievable push in the championship. We will see that tactical evolution from Vincent.
What's the scoreline to keep Luton in the Prem?
5-0 Burnley win. They're going to go out with a bang. They have a reason to fight.
They're fighting for the Kenny. Oh, my days. That would be the most historic thing to ever happen on the last day of the season.
And this is just from a tactical standpoint, my predictions. It's the way it's always been. So
Forest, 3-1. They'll get the job done. And I want to ask you one last question before we move to the next one. Does Company keep his job going back down?
Yeah, I think you give him another go.
You give him another go.
You give him another go.
I would agree with that.
Let him reload. Go make a couple signings. I think he's done enough to buy himself a little bit of time. If they struggle early, he's gone. But I think he's bought himself a little bit of time.
Bring us to the next one.
This takes us to Anfield. Jurgen Klopp, last one. They're facing Wolves. Legend.
He's a legend. It's his last game. They're going to absolutely be up for it, right? Yeah. And man, oh man, what a tenure Klopp has had. He's won every trophy there was to win with the club in recent years, including Champions League, the Prem. He's the only manager to rival Pep in recent years until Arteta, maybe, right? But man, he's a legend, and they're going to want to go out with a bang.
Yep. He's what you call a budget baller. Budget baller. He's not the level of Pep. He wouldn't succeed at the level of Pep has with City. But Jurgen Klopp is a culture guy. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that he is universally loved, because he can win a locker room and he can turn a locker room in his direction. He's a polarizing figure. He's such a fun personality. I'm gonna miss him
I think everyone has a respect for Klopp, and they're gonna miss him.
Favorite Jurgen Klopp moment? Taking the hammy. That's me in 40 years. That's me in 40 years, ripping the hammy, doing a little selly.
Yeah, and there's something special too when Klopp wins a game and he goes to his fans, and it's yeah, exactly. It's special. It's something you'll miss as a neutral. It really is. Wolves, I speak on them real quick. Gary O'Neill, great season. They mid-table finish when they should have been a relegation squad. Yeah. They have something to be proud of. but they're going to lose this game.
Scoreline?
Yep, 3-1.
3-1.
Crystal Palace against Aston Villa. Villa are going to be playing Champions League football for the first time in their club's history. I mean, what Emery has done this season, what Ollie Watkins has done this season. I mean, to finish fourth in this competitive of a Premier League is something to be said.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in other years, you see teams, maybe a little bit smaller clubs finish top four, get to the Prem. But this year, the competition was insane. For them to be consistent for 8 months, all season long, finish fourth is something really impressive.
Fun side, really there tactically. Unai Emery, hats off. Hats off to Unai Emery.
100%.
What a season. I'm really excited for them. I hope that it's a successful campaign. I think they're going to have an opportunity to go reload the squad. That money coming in will be a big thing for the club. And
Champions League money, right?
Champions League money.
Well, Crystal Palace have won 5 of their last 6.
Yeah.
They have been absolutely pinging. We were talking about it earlier. Their press is just insane. The way that they play on the front foot is getting the best out of Elise, Eze, Mateta. Those 3 have been dynamic in recent weeks. What is your score line? You pick, and then I'll just pick different from you. How does that sound?
Yeah, you pick different from me because I'm going to go ahead and just take 2 points on this one. Give me Villa 2-1 Aston Villa.
I'm going to go 2-2. We'll sit on the fence.
Love it. Brentford, they're getting Newcastle. They're getting a very important game. This is a lot to play for here. Help me navigate, even just in my mind here. I'm looking at the table. I'm kind of a donut. Help me navigate what this is even going to mean.
So we have Chelsea in 6th.
Yeah.
We have Newcastle in 7th. Yeah. And we have United in 8th. Right? Newcastle and United are level on points. Chelsea are three points clear. All of them are playing for Europe, right? I don't think 8th is going to be enough this year. So it's 6th and 7th that they're trying. It's very competitive, right? And so it'll be really interesting to see because Chelsea would have to lose, Newcastle would have to win, and have a little bit of goal differential as well. And then United would need a lot to happen for them to get back in the conversation. But they can still get to 7th, right? So there's a lot to play for. Brentford, there's nothing really to play for. I mean, they can jump up to 15th rather than 16th, which could be cool for them. And then always with those mid-table clubs, those clubs that avoid relegation, they always want to end. You always want to end the right way to send your club into the summer happy. Yeah. Your fans in the summer happy. But I think Newcastle will put the pressure on. They'll get the 3 points. I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0. That's a great shout. I'm going to go 2-1. Ivan Tony Penn.
There you go.
Cheers.
That brings us into Brighton against Manchester United. United were able to get a win midweek. And Brighton were not able to get a win midweek. They lost to Chelsea. And they have actually really fallen in the last month. They have kind of fallen 4 places, and they are still playing good football, but they're really having a tough time with injuries and et cetera, stuff like that, right? Yeah. This game, it doesn't feel like there's a lot going into it, just because United want to get back into Europe, but it might be a little bit too big of an ask. Right? Yeah, and so I think United will get the job done.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out. I'm going to go 2-1 United.
Yeah, and I think United have been a pretty poor pressing team. I think people would largely agree. They're not a team that's going to press well.
Yeah.
I think this will honestly not work in Brighton's favor in a way. Yeah. I think they like to play under the pressure.
Under the pressure, yeah.
Which is like a weird kind of dichotomy. But with that being said, I think the game is going to finish level. I'm going to go 1-1, sit the fence, Brighton United.
There you go.
Chelsea getting Bournemouth. This kind of rounds out our Europe decision-making fixtures here. Yep. And this one, I think, in my opinion, is the most straightforward one. But I'm interested to hear what you think. Chelsea, in the last couple of weeks, once they had this injury crisis, Poch called it. He said, once we get out of this injury fog, is what he called it, we were going to be playing good football, and we've seen that in the results that they've had.
Recent weeks, they have been
They've started to
pinging it. Yeah.
pinging it.
Yeah, and Nkunku is back, and he was up in the goals at the midweek, which is awesome. I'm a huge fan of him, and I thought he was going to be their signature signing this year. Injuries have plagued his season, but it gives you a little bit of hope going into next season, knowing that you have this million dollar man coming back. He's going to feel like a new signing next year, right?
Mate, anything that gets Jackson off the pitch is a win for Chelsea.
He was on the pitch today with Nkunku, and it was the amount of chances that he squanders. It's something to behold. Chelsea will probably get the job done here. I'm just going to go simply 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. I would have loved to taken it, but I'll go 3-1 just to try and pick up some points.
Yeah, Bournemouth are a good squad. They are fighting for potential top half if they were to get a win here. So,
big one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here.
We are to the title race as
deciders at the Emirates. We'll tackle it first. Okay. The Arsenal. They face Everton. No, not an easy fixture.
Not at all.
Not at all an easy fixture. Not the one that you'd want to see. Just 50,000 feet out. What a season to be proud of. Past the Invincibles win tally. A lot to hang our hat on. Competing with the team, facing 115. But regardless of that, played great football this season. Lots of passion. Really, we've seen this club turn around. We have seen it, and I felt it, Jordan. I felt this club turning the corner, and it's been a beautiful thing to see. Whether it gets done or not on Sunday, this is a season to be proud of, and this is a culture to be proud of.
To play City to the final match day is something to be proud of, because we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago that if Arsenal continue to win, and they end up losing the title race because City don't drop any points, it's something to be proud of, especially when you look at Arsenal taking 4 points off City this year, which is very impressive. Right?
Yeah. That being said, final match day, I think it's going to be in full voice. Emirates rocking 3-0 to the Arsenal.
3-0 to the Arsenal. I'm going to go ahead and go 2-1 to the Arsenal. It's going to be a thriller.
Who scores it late? Kai Havertz scores it.
I don't think it'll be late. I think it will be 2-0. Everton will just kind of get one back, and we'll go from there.
They always do.
They always make it nervy, right? And that will bring us to the last fixture of the season, right? We got Manchester City playing host to West Ham, right? And something we didn't mention earlier is both the Arsenal game and the City game are both going to be game of the weeks for us here at And We Build Predictions. So they're both going to be double points. A lot to play for on the pitch in England, and a lot to predict for.
I could get absolutely buried here. I could get buried.
It could get bad real quick. Oh my days! A couple things to be said. West Ham have nothing to play for. They're sitting ninth. They're going to finish ninth. That's not something as an Arsenal fan you wanted to hear. City.
There is something to play for, but I'll touch on that later.
Yeah. No, but touch on it right now.
Moyes.
Oh.
It's the send-off.
It's a send-off.
It's the end of an era. It's a legend of the game.
Who's won a European Cup with.
There's a reason that they're going to want to send him off. Let's leave it that way. It's not for nothing.
Okay.
It's a Moyes send-off. That's
Moyes send-off. Moyes send-off. Come on, West Ham, all right?
Come on, you Hammers.
City. Juggernaut. They've been unstoppable in recent weeks. Like literally unstoppable. Like watching them play soccer is the most frustrating thing in the world because of how dominant they are. There'll be passages of play where it's just one touch through the midfield, and then all of a sudden there'll be a passage of play where they look kind of sloppy, but they are so good defensively that the other team never feels like scoring. That's something that I've really noticed. And I got to watch both of their fixtures this past week. Is it never feels like they're going to concede. It feels like you need a miracle for the other team to concede, and that's insane. And I think that there's a lot to be said to Diaz. I think he is a proper center back, and I think his ability to stop counterattacks has been really, really impressive. And I think it's a huge piece of Pep's formula, if you will, and why they are so successful.
Yeah, I Completely agree. I can't say enough about the way that Manchester City play football. It's something, as a rival fan, I want to be mad, I want to be upset, but then you turn on a game and you watch the way that they play football, and it's beautiful. And it's a lot to do with Pep, the culture that he builds, the way that he sees the game. There's a reason that Arteta was his protege and is where he is now.
You want to hear a fun stat about Pep?
I don't know if I do, but say it anyways.
Pep, in his coaching career, has only not won the title in whatever league he's in twice.
What, you said 3 times?
Twice.
Okay.
It could be 3 this weekend.
I thought I heard
but
echoes of 3.
What a stat.
Yeah.
He's been around the game for a long time.
Yeah. Do you know the teams that he lost it with?
I want to say Liverpool, right?
Yeah,
Liverpool,
so one.
right, is one, and then probably Madrid back in the probably back in the La Liga days. But I know he won all of his titles when he was at Bayern. I know that.
Yeah.
But just a crazy stat that I heard this week, and just tells you a lot about the culture and the identity that Pep teams have.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just go 2-0 to City. I hate saying it, but that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. And I have been able to find perfect predictions in the past, and this would be a wonderful time to find it. If this game finishes level, it will happen in this fashion. It will happen in a 2-2 fashion where West Ham go 2-0 up, City storm back, and they run out of time.
Oh my days.
2-2, West Ham
gets a point off City, gives Arsenal the crown.
Waterworks, but it's waffle, but it's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot. Well, that's going to wrap us up for this video.
Yeah.
It's going to wrap us up for the Premier League campaign. Yeah. Kind of emotional. We've been doing this for a long time.
We've been pinging it about.
We love you guys. We're throwing up that graphic now for our predictions. Thank you guys for being so consistent throughout the season with us.
Yeah.
We've loved being able to have waffle and banter, little conversations outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
But oh man, what a year!
A special shout out to everyone that's been involved in making this happen. All of our guests that have come
along. We've had some brilliant guests.
Yeah, brilliant guests.
We'll go ahead and shout out our guest of the year, which was my dad.
Yeah.
He finished the top of the guest leaderboard.
Yes.
Honestly, insane. He doesn't know anything about soccer, but
also a big ups to Jordan. Did a lot behind the scenes, getting this to you, rounding me up when I'm a donut. And so big ups, Jordan, keeping this alive and just a cool place where we could have people come.
Talk about footy.
Yeah, talk footy.
Ah.
And so we love you guys.
Thank you guys for watching all year long.
Cheers.